Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about Elon Musk, and we're going to talk about Twitter. So it looks like the Elon Musk purchase in Twitter is back on. All right, so what happened? So there was this. So Elon Musk is like, I'm going to buy Twitter, and then Twitter's like, what? Like, and they got like all upset, and it's really wild because I think Microsoft passed on Twitter, buying Twitter for like $5 billion. And they're like, we don't know what and then essentially what happened is Donald Trump spent 4 years just turning Twitter into the most important news source in the world. News breaks on Twitter hours before the mainstream media has any clue what's happening, right? And the other issue is like, you got a revolution going on in your country? Why don't you use Twitter to tell us everything that's happening and show us everything is happening in real time, right? Also, every journalist on the planet is on Twitter, right? Every journalist that matters is on Twitter. And Twitter is special for a very distinct reason, and that is you got to be smart to use it because you have to summarize your point. You don't get to just drone on. They're like, make a good point, summarize it, have a good point, summarize it, put it up, go, right? And frankly, if you ain't smart, you really can't do it. Summarization, people are building AIs, and summarizing a story is one of the hardest things in the world. They're not sure they'll ever be able to do it with an AI, right? Because it's so outrageously difficult, right? To determine relevance, right? And so basically, Twitter is like Facebook for smart people, and Facebook Facebook is social media for everyone, right? And Reddit is Facebook for mean people, and Instagram is for Facebook for people who don't like to read a lot. But Twitter is huge in that it's not the largest social media site. It is the most impactful. Now, why does it matter for Dungeons and Dragons? Wizards of the Coast is like this. They listen very, very closely to Twitter. They listen to specific media sources. And I'll tell you right now, this isn't debatable. It's factually been seen multiple times. Dungeons and Dragons is incredibly responsive to the conversations that happen on Twitter, right? Like the Hadozi change that came out, that change came directly from conversations that were happening on Twitter weeks before they were even mentioned anywhere else. And Instagram still doesn't, you're not going to see any discussion of Hadozi on Instagram ever, 9 chances out of 10. That's my humble opinion, right? So the reality is, Twitter massively impacts Dungeons and Dragons, very directly impacts. And frankly, they keep telling you, they're like, Wizards of the Coast design team is like, hey, it's important that you do the survey. We love when you hear from you on YouTube and Twitter, but we'd really like you to do the survey. They full of crap. They listen to Twitter and YouTube way more than they are listening to that survey. That's a fact. I'll give you the example. Why? Sly Flourish had a problem with his order, right? With a product order. So he says on his show, I got a problem with my order. They contacted him, right? And he's like, I don't want you to fix it for me. I want you to fix it for everybody, right? His YouTube channel changed Dungeons and Dragons virtually instantly and impacted thousands of players, right? Who made the same order mistake he did, right? And Dungeon Masters, and did it almost overnight, just super fast, right? And you're not going to get that from a survey. They're not going to be like, oh, hey, we saw you put something on your survey, so we're contacting you directly. No, right? Twitter is huge, and it is incredibly important. If Elon buys Twitter, which there's a 90% chance, in my humble opinion now, what's going to happen is Dungeons and Dragons is going to get way more based, and woke is going to start shedding off that thing like a dragon with mange, right? Like scales off of a dragon with mange. I think Elon purchasing Twitter is a big deal, and it is going to change a lot of things for Dungeons and Dragons overall. And I think it's really important to understand that that Twitter absolutely has direct impact to Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, and guess what? If you're a little TTRPG company, it don't impact you. It shuts you down, right? Twitter says you don't sell. You don't sell. You are gone. right? It has happened to half a dozen companies where they were functioning tabletop role-playing game companies, pissed off Twitter, and they are finished. Like, out the door, wrap it up, baby, you finished, right? Like, Twitter don't play. They will wreck you, right? If you are not D&D. If you're D&D, they'll like, bonk, and it's like, it's an impact, right? D&D can absorb the impact of Twitter, but overall, small companies, forget it. They are just, it's a thing. It's just absolutely a thing. And I think we are getting to the point where, we've reached a point in Dungeons and Dragons where we have massive impact coming in from Twitter. Twitter is a huge driver for Dungeons and Dragons, and I think we just need to recognize this. It's very real. And so my prediction, if Elon Musk actually says what he said he was going to do, right, rather than it being a move to pull the stock price down, right, and he genuinely doesn't want it, Dungeons and Dragons could get a lot more based, because they are not going to stop listening to Twitter, because Twitter is the most powerful communication platform on the earth. The reason why is the U.S. president uses it. Like the most powerful U.S. president in my lifetime used it constantly. All this is my humble opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.